Right now on Hoosier News Source, find out about the mysterious mold problem that's affecting IU dorms and its students.
And Bernie Sanders visited campus to endorse a Bloomington congressional candidate. Find out why he wants young people to vote now more than ever.
And I have what our next 7 days will look like, including a rainy weekend and unseasonably cooler temperatures. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Andrew Lamparski.
And I'm Meredith Strumming.
We've had beautiful weather these past few days, and Caroline Clare is here to tell us just how long that will last. Caroline?
Thanks, Andrew. A high-pressure system will be in effect throughout the week, creating dry and cool weather until Saturday night. We have a low-pressure system moving into our area, creating a rainy weekend Saturday night moving into Sunday morning. Taking a closer look at our weekend forecast, we can see we have cloudy all throughout the weekend and our chance of rain through our low-pressure system moving through. Now, if we look at the weekly forecast, we can expect a mostly cloudy week and cooler temperatures than normal for this time of the year. Wednesday, we have a high of 52 and sunny. Thursday, partly sunny, high of 49. Friday, mostly cloudy, high of 52. Saturday and Sunday, we have a higher chance of rain from that low pressure system with a high of 52 on Saturday and a high of 49 on Sunday. And then going into next week, we have mostly cloudy on Monday with a high of 50, and Tuesday, partly sunny with a high of 58. Hopefully this chilly weather sticks around for Halloween next Wednesday, but until then, grab a sweater and enjoy this beautiful fall weather. Andrew, Meredith, back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. In Monroe County, General Election Day is Tuesday, November 6th. The voting polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., but absentee voting by mail is another option available to all voters, especially those who work outside of poll hours, people who are in the military, or college students. After an Indiana resident completes an absentee request form found online at www.in.gov, they can then send in the form by mail, email, or fax. Once they receive their ballot in the mail, they will then fill it out and return it by mail in person or at any local post office.
Speaking of voting, Senator Bernie Sanders came to campus on Friday to endorse congressional candidate Liz Watson. After the rally, the senator walked with students to an early voting center in Bloomington. I was there in the middle of the action.
And you right here in Indiana, in the 9th District, can in fact play a monumental role in the future of this country.
On Friday morning, thousands filled Dunn Meadow to watch Senator Bernie Sanders endorse District 9 candidate Liz Watson. Along with healthcare and immigration, voter participation was one of the central points of the rally. Sanders addressed Indiana's historically low voter turnout in the last midterm election, Indiana ranking 50th in voter participation in 2014.
Well, Indiana, let's change that.
I'm here outside the Monroe County Government Office where hundreds of voters, Democrat and Republican, followed Senator Sanders from Dunn Meadow right to the polling booth. One of those voters arrived to Friday's events wearing a Make America Great Again flag as a cape.
You know, it's not every day that a senator comes to Bloomington, so no matter who it is, I'll probably come. And even if I disagree, I still want to be a part of the environment. Sanders and Watson encouraged those in attendance to get their friends and family out to vote as well. IU student Ethan Prescott says he hopes his peers get more involved in the political process.
I have so many friends who are so directly affected by these decisions that are made, that whether at a local level or at a national level, and without your voice being able to be heard, it's kind of hard to get that proper representation out.
If there's one thing that both parties can agree on, it's the importance of getting out to vote. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski. On November 6th, Watson faces off with Republican incumbent Trey Hollingsworth for a seat in the House of Representatives. To find out who will be on your ballot and where you can vote on November 6th, visit indianavoters.in.gov. Morgan Ellison, the sophomore IU football player accused of sexual assault, has been permanently dismissed from the football team and suspended from the university for 2.5 years. It was confirmed on October 19th that the former running back would be suspended after losing his appeal in the sexual misconduct panel. Ellison has been denying any accusations against him, claiming it was consensual. Recently, Ellison released a song titled Out of My Mind, essentially his first response since Friday's news. The song includes lyrics like, "Yeah, you said you did, but I'm looking for proof," and "Sick of this life, I just want to die." We will continue to follow this story and include updates next week. Bloomington received a perfect score from the Human Rights Campaign for its support of LGBTQ citizens. The Human Rights Campaign bases the scores on factors like discrimination laws, city services, and LGBTQ leadership. Only 78 of 506 cities across the country received a perfect score this year, and Bloomington is the only Indiana city to do so.
Living in the dorms can be fun, but it can also be hazardous to your health. IUS TV reporter Charlie Rubeski tells us more about the mold epidemic in the dorms at IU.
Adjusting to living in a dorm can be difficult for some, but living in a dorm where mold is growing is not only difficult, it's dangerous.
The room something was off about it. There's a bad smell. It was just always moist in the room. And then they figured out there's mold.
We had to evacuate our rooms, like we've been out since 8 a.m. and we can't go back till 5 o'clock tonight.
Director of Media Relations Chuck Carney says, Indiana University is continuing its ongoing efforts to address reports of mold in residence halls. Currently, we are cleaning the air conditioning and piping systems in every room in Foster and McNutt, conducting remediation where mold is found, and conducting third-party testing for mold in indoor air. Potential mold has been observed in several teeter rooms, primarily in closets, and remediation was started there over the weekend.
RPS has been relocating Foster and McNutt residents suffering from mold to dorms on the opposite end of campus. The students are being moved to dorms like Wilkie South, a much newer dorm where mold is not currently an issue.
Former Foster RA Andrea Nowakowski was permanently moved to Wilkie South due to the mold issue.
Pretty much everybody has mold in their room at some level.
Nowakowski says that IU should consider moving all residents out of the mold-infested dorms and remodel the residence halls. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Charlie Rubeski.
For more information about the mold in the dorms, you can visit buildings.iu.edu. An IU student is in serious condition after he crashed an electric rideshare scooter and hit his head on Saturday night. Authorities have not identified the scooter as a Bird or Lime, but believe the cause was not due to the scooter malfunctioning. The rider is known to be in serious condition, however, his injuries appear to be non-life-threatening. Coming up, we tell you how the Hoosiers did in sports this week.
Plus, what's going on around the world with our global report.
These stories and more coming up. Stay with us.
Welcome back. It was a busy weekend for sports teams as some of them wrapped up their seasons. Our sports reporter Joe Cantor joins us live in studio to give us the recap. Joe?
The Indiana football team looked to bounce back after an embarrassing homecoming loss to Iowa. They got off to a strong start. Stevie Scott reemerged on the ground, rushing for 138 yards and a touchdown. He does the trademarked Saquon Barkley windmill celebration there to stick it to the Nittany Lions. But Penn State would answer back and take a commanding 33-21 lead behind a little trickeration right here for the touchdown. But oh wait, comeback season. Ramsey finds Jay-Shun Harris with 48 seconds to go, 33-28 Nittany Lions. The Hoosiers would even recover the onside kick, but it was too little, too late as Penn State hangs on for the win. The IU women's soccer team finished up their season on Sunday after their home finale didn't go quite as they planned. The home finale against Penn State, the seniors running out the field for the final time. Taking you now to the 26th minute, Megan Scott from outside the box finds Abby Allen, who relays that to the back of the net. Hoosiers lose that game 4-1. Now to Sunday, on the road at College Park, Grace Geisey breaking ankles and breaking Terrapin hearts. Hoosiers win their season finale 1-0. The number 2 ranked team in the nation, the IU men's soccer team, put on a football clinic against in-state rival Butler. This was incredible. These were pinball-like goals. Here's the Andrew Gutman circus, tap right up for a diving Justin Rennick's header, which pushed the Hoosiers up 1-0. Then a corner from Trevor Schwartz. He meets Timmy Mell at the corner of 4th and the box, and they find goal number 2. Doink. But the cherry on top belonged to Spencer Glass, charging in on a breakaway long ball from Trevor Schwartz. Shot through the heart. Can't blame the keeper, though. Hoosiers, 3-0 winners. They sit at 13-2 on the year. Well, that's all for IU Sports this week. Meredith, Andrew, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. Now let's take a look at stories people are talking about around the world. International reporters Carly Van Cleve and Larmy Sanyon join us in studio with the Global Report.
Investigation continues on the disappearance of Washington Post journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The Saudi government says the journalist died at a consulate in Turkey after a violent altercation. Director of the CIA, Gina Haspel, is heading into Turkey to look into his death. Investigators believe an abandoned car is linked to his death, and they say a man was seen dressed in Khashoggi's clothing as a body double.
Look, we're going to have a thorough investigation. I know that our agencies will be looking into it. An full investigation has to take place, and sanctions have to be, or sanctions should be placed.
Bob Corker says he thinks the Saudi government is responsible. Early Saturday, Saudi Arabia confirmed his death, but they say they are unsure what happened to the body.
Pope Francis met Monday with Colombian President Ivan Duque. During their meeting, they discussed the willingness of the Colombian government for dialogue with the ELN guerrillas, but only if they comply with certain conditions. The conditions include releasing all of the kidnapped and abandoning all criminal activity. They also talked about Venezuelan migration and the help that Colombia provides to all of these migrants. Officials from Taiwan are trying to find the cause of a deadly train derailment that took place over the weekend. They say at least 18 people were killed when the train jumped tracks in Yilan County. Nearly 180 other people were injured. 8 train cars flew off the tracks and 5 of them flipped upside down.
About 7,500 migrants are marching through Mexico headed straight for the United States. Officials say the migrants are a part of a caravan and are mostly from Central America. These migrants say they are seeking safety and better economic opportunities. Some have claimed refugee status in Mexico, while others have returned home.
That doesn't work out. We're calling up the military, not the Guard. We're calling up the military. And we're going to have the military stationed. They're not coming into this country. They might as well turn back. They're not coming into this country.
President Trump is also threatening to cut off foreign aid given to these countries.
And finally tonight, there were massive protests in London over the weekend over Brexit. Momentum appears to be building for a second Brexit referendum. Protesters in favor of another vote took the streets in London this weekend. Organizers handed out postcards for people to write to their local lawmakers demanding a final say on the Brexit deal. That's all here on the Global Report. For me and Carly, thank you so much. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Larmy and Carly. That's all we have for you this week. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com.
And like us on social media. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV News.
From all of us here at IUSTV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.